rest in peace. So Vilagazi, Joseph Tukutuku Makaya. Oh my God, Orlando Pirates. And at that time there was this song, Havatavile Babinavari, happy people.
That you made them extremely happy, the people of Orlando Pirates, the fans.
My goodness, Rob, Umtata Clinton, the coach of the happy people. Mr. Papich, sir, thank you so much for serving us with distinction. We may not have won anything under your leadership, but man, our football was incredible.
I could tell that it was an emotional journey for you.
Yeah, that is, for 2 minutes you cannot say much, but thank you very much for all of you who is respecting the things what I did for Orlando Pirates and for entire South African football.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW. Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Well, in exactly an hour's time, Bafana Bafana down in Joburg, down at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, are going to be taking the Congo on in a very, very important qualifier for the Africa Cup of Nations. So we'll keep you up to date. We'll make sure that the lads are ready. We'll make sure as well that the starting lineup is presented to you right here in the studio. Because, you know, when you've got a former Bafana Bafana captain, when you've got somebody who's led the national team, somebody who's gone on to do such great things, and you know what? Let me actually pause there. I mean, there's a certain structure, and I can tell you that there's a certain stature of central defenders should have. And I think that's what everybody thinks. Well, I think you just know that this one is a centre-back pillar. You know, when you see him, it's done. I mean, you don't ask. He's a tall, he's a lanky lad, tough as nails during his time. I mean, you can't really argue about what position he played. You couldn't say that, you know, this guy is in midfield, or it's either goalkeeper or he's there in defense. I suppose that old school belief, though, that the best captains are often your central defense or your central midfield turned out to be true, though, with this legend, because, I mean, what a fantastic captain he was. A born leader. A leader of the pack, as they call it, for both club and country. And we certainly enjoyed his no-nonsense defensive play, as well as his robust, highly offensive duties that he did take from time to time. I mean, he outjumped everyone. I mean, he banged the goals every now and then. And he has proven to be a scholar of the game with his fantastic, eloquent, and thought-provoking television football analyst career. I think we watch him more than we watch the football these days. And we love it because it makes sense. There's one part that he gets asked about a hell of a lot. We'll leave that for the interview. A real beast on the pitch, but an absolute gentle giant off it. You know what, guys? No matter how cool you look, how expensive your clothes are, there are just some people that you can never beat, and is certainly one of them. Let's reflect on a career well played, a life still well lived, and a legend himself, ladies and gentlemen. Umtungwa is here. Hey, give him a... That's the standing ovation that we're talking about there, guys. Yeah. I mean, not everybody gets to score in a World Cup finals. Nobody gets to do that, and especially against France. And this man did it against France in Bloemfontein. And what a showing that was. Bongs, I think you just turned this building upside down, boss. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Rob, and thank you so much. Very kind words. You know, when you've been in the game for so long, I mean, you don't expect that. I don't think that's never an expectation. I think whenever you're a footballer, especially if you deemed to be a leader, you know, you always see the game through the eyes of a servant. So thank you so much for that. Very, very kind.
All right. We just wanted to get those words in. And because we have now officially gotten the game underway and Bongani is seated comfortably, we got to be paying this respective genius, giving him his flowers while he's still alive, man. Marawa Sports Worldwide, let's not forget, is proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
From the pitch to the podium, your all-access pass to the world of sport is right here. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. Friday nights, always
This is how we do it.
about our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
I was trying to think, Bongani, where I begin this conversation with you, and I think the most dramatic out of all of them was when you decided this is it, you're going to retire from the game of football.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong in terms of scripting this whole idea in my mind, but I think it just led to you dropping in a group within Supersport United the message that it's done all over and it was game over. Was it simply put like that?
Yeah, like most things in my life, I try to keep things very simple. In fact, the last time we sat like this is 10 years ago, as it were. And 10 years ago, the questions were, do you think you'll ever kick a ball again?
Yes.
I think we take time for granted, but that's where we were. And now I'm at that place.
Yeah.
But the difference now is, and I thank God, is that I'm at that place on my own terms. Fair enough, my career, I wanted to do more, would have wanted a longer stay in Europe, but the injury happened, things change, you have to adapt and keep going on. But I'm very fortunate to have had the extra years within the game. Still been fortunate to be around some amazing teammates who I've won things with, coming back home as well. So I'm very, very fortunate and blessed for that.
When you talk about those blessings, though, did you consult anybody? Was there somebody who you thought, I need to phone so-and-so and ask, is this the right decision that I'm taking? Me bowing out of the game, I need to consult a person. Was there a person that you did that to?
No, there wasn't. Because I firmly believe there's certain decisions that you need to make on your own without consulting anybody.
Right.
Because what that does is it leaves out any scapegoats. You can't blame anybody. It is just you. And I think, as young men, we need to get to that point more often than not. Because it's so easy to make a decision, consult 10, 20 people and all say, yes. And then when it doesn't work out, you'd be like, I shouldn't have listened. I shouldn't have. And that's just an excuse whereby if you make the decision, you have to make it work. And if it doesn't, it's all on you. It's a much simpler, call it transaction, for lack of a better word. So that happened, and it just got to a time where one thing that's certain, your career will end.
Yes.
The best you can hope for is that it ends on your own terms. So you decide. Well, hopefully you get to decide. And I got to that point and I was like, you know what? It's just time for other things. You sacrifice so much as a footballer. And if people are used to seeing you playing at a certain level, that's the expectation. So I can't get to the latter stages of my career and say, okay, well, I'm preparing for life after football, so I can't maybe train as much or I can't take as many naps because during the day I need to be focusing on my business. And then all of a sudden your football struggles, your performances struggle and people call you out on your performances, but you're busy building a life away from football. I knew for a fact that I can't have that luxury. Unfortunately, once you build a name for yourself, once you have a profile, there's a certain expectation. And a bad day, and without giving myself the big one, but it is facts. A bad day for a Bongani is very different for a bad day to an Intabi Singh. A bad day for a Tiko Modise is very different.
Yes,
to a Dlamini or to me even, for that matter.
Or René is a different bad day to a Bongani Khumalo.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's very, very different in terms of the levels that are expected out of your performance. Very, very different. So I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? Obviously now, I'm playing a lot less games, which is fine. I can handle it. I can support the team and I can play my role. But in that, I'd rather bet on myself committing fully to the rest of my life, which is I've got lesser years in football, right? I'd rather invest in that than invest in something that I know is going to end at any point. Could be my last season. Then the season finishes, you're hoping to get another contract. You're 34, 35.
Doesn't happen.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't happen. And all of a sudden you find yourself in a position whereby, for a lot of professionals, it looks like you haven't prepared for it. So I always said, and I had this conversation with my friends, control your own narrative, control your story. We don't have enough of that. So I woke up and I was like, you know what? I think I'm done. And that was it. Called my agent, Glenn. Glenn's telling me about, oh no, there's opportunities somewhere, China or this, there's that club. I was like, I'm done. It's like, no. I think he couldn't even believe it. And I was like, Glenn, I'm no longer a footballer. Yo. It is time. It's time to start preparing for life beyond the game and to start fully commit to it. Just like I committed to football, I'm going to fully commit to the next phase. And this decision has to be made in order for that to happen.
Sure. I mean, I've never heard it more direct than that, but I don't expect any less from a person like yourself. An interesting one, which I want to come back to. is your relationship with the football fans of South Africa? I mean, how would you describe it though? Because you don't just say a bad day for Bongs is a different one for Teko or for Redelwe or for anybody else who's seen as a luxury player or skillful player or whatever you want to dub it. But straightforward question: your relationship with SA football fans.
You know what? I got a funny story that I tell. I've told my friends, and so remember, 20 years ago, it wasn't common that local footballers talk like I do. So I was the abnormally, right? And what people don't understand is, remember, before you knew what I did, before I played for Supersport, I still played football before that. And the difference is because of how I speak, perhaps maybe even how I carry myself, if I'm different or whatever it is, I don't know what it is, but mostly because of what I speak, let's be honest, call a spade, right? I had to work 3 times harder than anybody to earn the same amount of respect, because football is a game of mistakes, and I'm a defender. Our mistakes are costly. But if I made a mistake, it was always like, yeah, but you come from a good family. You speak English. You got white friends. You don't need this. Do you know what I mean? So I had to work 3 times harder than anybody to make sure that I don't make any mistakes, because the treatment that I will get from fellow teammates will be very, very different. There'll be less understanding. And I knew that way before I got into the PSL, way before that. So if you look at my drive or my energy or wherever it comes from, but now in hindsight, I'm actually grateful for that, because I went further than a lot,
than most
within my generation. So that's where it started. And now the funny part of it is, every time I was in Europe and I came back, I had so much anxiety. And I'm only telling these stories, funny you should ask me that, I'm only telling these stories now, 3 years after retiring. Every time I landed, I had so much anxiety because I never knew what the reception would be like. What is happening now? Like, what am I being called now? So,
but you were called those things, and while you were still being very honest and open and transparent with us and very vulnerable, you were being called a coconut. 100%. You were being called a white black man.
100%.
So those are the terms or the terminologies that went your way.
You name it, under the sun, I was called that. Because, thank God, why? Because there's not much negativity within the press. I only play football and that's it.
Yeah.
You only hear of me around football and that's it. So I guess I was misunderstood. And so it would happen. I played for a pretty successful team. So we're grabbing headlines for all the right reasons.
Yes.
And that comes with a lot of attention, obviously. And then Gavin decides to give me the armband. That's more interviews. Now I'm thrusted more into the spotlight.
So you have to talk.
And I thank
now.
Gavin, by the way. Listen, Gavin Hunt has to be thanked, because that made me shy. You know what I mean? That perception, it made me shy and made me kind of a little bit withdrawn. I felt like I couldn't be myself. Gavin Hunt was the one that yanked my personality out of me. He literally yanked it out of me every single training session. He's like, look at you, you big, you command, you can jump, you win headers, but you talk like a mouse. Like, you're talking like a mouse. Like, I want to hear you. You must be the loudest voice on the pitch. He yanked it out of me. And I promise you, he pulled my personality, my character in all sorts of different directions. Like, I was tested mentally. And I'm grateful for that, because it made me so strong.
Yeah.
It made me so strong, within my career, the challenges that I would have faced, things that were said, or whatever expectation that there was, it was never too much, because obviously I had a dream and there's certain things I wanted to achieve by myself.
Yeah.
But, to have them, that's why I always talk about mentors whenever I do, my analysis. Mentors. You need to have coaches that take the time to talk to your players. At the end of the day, as a coach, those are the guys that got your job in your hands. You don't want to say it, but that's the reality of it. And I'm not saying, cocoon your players, because players can also be weird creatures, but you have to have at least that rapport, that relationship whereby there's an expectation of excellence, an expectation of delivering what needs to be delivered in order for this vehicle to be successful. Because if it is successful, this vehicle, you'll be successful. And that's what was sold to me.
And the crazy thing is that when people don't do the necessary background as, why is Bongani of the certain disposition, then they will get to find out that, you're from a very well-educated family. Yeah. You're from a family of teachers.
Yes.
So if mom's teaching, dad's lecturing, hey, boss, trust me, you're not going to be out there saying, I'm playing monkey games in the streets.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And how football started was like, my dad would support my football. He's like, listen, at the end of the day, I know where my son is after school. If he's not at school, he's here. Cool, great. Join Arcadia Shepherds. So I joined Arcadia Shepherds, and that kept me busy. That kept me busy. I've met a lot of friends. most of my friends that I have now that I can count on one hand, they're guys I met through
From
football
then.
when I was 13, 12 years old. You know, now to get to the funny part of my story, I'm going to have to digress a little bit just to finish that part.
This is it. Yeah.
So now, with that perception of fans, the most beautiful thing happened, though, when I turned around, about 26, 27, right? Now, bear in mind, I made my debut as a 20-year-old. I'm captain as 21. This is 26, 27. Already played in the World Cup.
Scored a goal.
Right? National team, all of that.
Yeah.
So the most beautiful thing happened. Now we're walking through the airport, quick story. You know, guys see Shaba. Hey, Dintotem now, Dunjan Fanagiti. Shab, Eta, sure. Hey, Tiko, hey, Donna, hey, Dunjan Donna, hey, Eta. And I come along. Hey, Bongs, how are you, Bongs? Are you well? I am not making this up. I am not making it up.
So they're scared to talk Jay like an outie.
No. Here's the beauty, Rob. Here's the beauty. So for the first time in my life, right, that wasn't people being spiteful or teasing me.
Yes.
It was actually out of respect, out of trying to create a sort of rapport, because that's how people were sort of misinformed. Because now there's things like he can only speak English.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So then people were
Khumalo
just trying to
that doesn't
relate.
know, yes.
They were just trying to relate. So that was the beauty, was that finally, for the first time in a long time, it wasn't out of like, you know, teasing or spite or anything malicious. It was literally just out of respect and just trying to relate. And I was just like, wow, like, khuluma, man.
Yeah, asringela.
Sawubona.
Wawuzongishintshela manje uthi, you know, Bongs, man, how you doing, Bongs?
That was interesting.
But umntungu onjani lo? No, zara mntungu zamthungwa.
#MSW live on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Boki, I'm home.
And now, what's all this?
What you mean? It's groceries.
But payday's only next week, and you've got Avos. Did you get an inheritance or something? Liv, you can tell me.
When you get a Nedbank Platinum credit card, there will be signs. Get competitive interest rates from Prime and up to 2% unlimited cashback on your card spend from just 99 Rand a month. So you can buy groceries whenever. Apply via netbank.co.za or the Money app. See money differently. Nedbank. We're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Dance all the way home with these deals celebrating Samsung Store's birthday. Take home the 65-inch QLED 4K Q60D and upscale your entertainment for 14,999 Rand. Save 3,000 Rand. Plus, get a complimentary C-Series soundbar worth 2,000 Rand. Or get a Galaxy Z Flip 6 plus Galaxy Buds 3 for 26,999 Rand. Save 3,000 Rand. Valid now at Samsung stores until 13 October 2024. T's and C's apply.
You know when you try to get through to the department of what, and it's just...
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, no, sorry.
Hello.
Wrong department.
But we stick it out anyway. Reward yourself with the new Nando's Cover Society flatbread. Enjoy flame grilled Shisanyama Chicken Society on a bed of delicious coleslaw and a toasted flatbread for only 55 Rand. Nando's, fire it up.
Dear Journal, adulthood, day 3000 and what does it matter? Just had Sunday lunch with my folks. The idea of going home and seeing my parents excited me until I was actually home. Seeing my parents. Do I need to do therapy?
Finally learning about mental health. Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's convenient and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Stressed out? Exhausted? Sleepless nights? Reclaim your calm and wake up refreshed every day. 96% of users surveyed by Home Tester Club recommend Stress Away from Tip Health Sciences, like Nikita from Kempton.
Stress Away is my go-to. It reduces my stress and anxiety during the day and helps me sleep better at night.
Take control. Take stress away.
You're not ordinary, right? So why not bet with the extraordinary? Bet on Lotto Star. Lotto Star offers world-renowned lotteries, quick games, real rush slot games, scratch card games, and live games. You could win payouts of up to 75 million Rand instantly. Bet now on lottostar.co.za. Your world of live games awaits. Lotto is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18. NRGP 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Professor of football.
Kostadin Papic.
My goodness, Rob.
But while we're talking about Kaizer Chiefs, you were there from the 7th of March to the 4th of June. Very short stay. What, according to Costa Papic, was the reason?
Condition is to try every each player. In that time, Kaizer Chiefs is in a position number 9. Nice, and all of a sudden they said we're not winning the position number 8. At that time, realized that the Kaizer Chiefs doesn't want me.
Kaizer Mtaung, and to quote directly from what he said, you know, he was just smoking, end quote.
If I'm only smoking, what about the winning the league in Ghana? What about the Black Leopards, what I did? What about the Polo Quanesi?
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Tembala bathandi bebola. Marawa. Bongs, I'd say one of the disciplined defenders. You know, very disciplined. And Bongs, thanks. You know, as he speaks, I'm thinking of Babam Teto. Babam Teto used to say, hey, Muno was home. Quench. Bongs, can you tell us, can you speak isiZulu or any other, you know, Venek? All right, thanks.
Oh man. The irony of having just dealt with that. But now you work with Babam Tetra. Does he still pull the fast one on that, or he doesn't really say much to you?
No, not at all. No, not at all. Because obviously now, you know, we colleagues. Obviously, when I do bump into him, when I do OB, because a lot of time I'm in studio.
Sure.
But when I do OBs and stuff, I mean, he's always kind. We always have a good chat about the game and how we see it and certain things. So, yeah, it's all good.
Umfana Swatini. Uzalelwe eSwatini. Wakhulela eMamelodi.
Bafazone.
Nje. Ukuthi wena ukwazi ukukhuluma isiZulu, iSuthu, what? Ayihlangani lento mfethu. Ayihlangani. And one of the things I was saying to you off air is that I was making the analogy with Augustine Makalakalane. Again, similar situation, but he wore white boots. And I think his sin was that he wore white boots before colorful boots became a thing in South Africa.
Yep.
And he was just highlighted for that. It was, he's wearing white boots. For what? For who? You know. But anyway, let's close that chapter. Because I know that the one thing that you really had wanted at the time was chasing the Dane Clayt number of league championships that he had won. Obviously, he had amassed success, I think, on 4 occasions at Supersport United, did it twice with Orlando Pirates. And was that a real competition that really, I don't know if it was real, or it's just one that motivated you to try and get to that level?
Well, here's an interesting thing. I've played 9 seasons in South Africa. I've got 7 trophies. 4 of them are the PSL league title. I've never won a league title without Dane Clayt.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? I've never won a league title without Dane Clayt. That's facts. So, fair enough, we played together at Supersport, and then I left, and he went to Pirates, continued to do amazing things. And then I came back, rejoined Wits, and he was there, sat next together. We sat next to each other in the change room.
Yeah.
You know, for training and in the change room for official games. Because there's certain games at halftime. there's a certain, and I love Dane. There's a certain bond that's created when you win things with people. I can't explain it. There's a comfort, there's a trust, there's a brotherhood. You know, even on a bad day, in a bad game, halftime, we're like this. Dane can sit and be like, yo, hey, today's tough, yo. I'm like, yeah, no, hey, these guys have got us.
Yeah.
But if you go second half, I can guarantee you we're going twice as hard because we understand the responsibility and what it takes to cross the line. So we can have this conversation together. But what we tell everyone else in the change room is completely different. Yeah. And we come across. So we can be vulnerable here because we know each other like that. But to everyone else, it's like, listen, we're going to get out of this thing. We're going to find a way. We're going to win. You know, and I'm so grateful for Dane. I mean, his quality. I mean, look, what do I have? Like 8, 9 goals in the PSL or whatever. I think half of those come from a Dane Klein free kick, you know. So
his assist levels in terms of you and him combining, crazy.
No, the best. And the thing is, you know, every time I've won the league, whether Supersport, and one thing that always happened in the change room was guys talking about the game. Talking about the game, how you see it, how I see it, and where we meet each other in the middle, because we're all pushing in the same direction. And egos aside, whether you play 5 games, 10 games, 15, or all of them, when you play, you make that opportunity count, because at the end of the day, we'll all be happy. If we win the league, we all get better contracts next season.
Oh, exactly.
Facts.
We'll talk about better contracts and all that. Right now, Dane Klein's the king.
Good evening to all the listeners, and good evening to Bra Rob, and of course to Bongani. Well done, a fantastic career. Absolute honor and privilege to share a change room with you. I still remember vividly you coming to your first junior national team camp with us, and you were so nervous and shaky, but you settled in well and ended up scoring in the World Cup in 2010 against France. So that's my vivid memory of how far you've come, and to see you shining on the biggest stage at Tottenham. Thank you for making my dream come true at White Hart Lane, making sure I get tickets for the New Year's Day kickoff game against Chelsea, which Tottenham won 5-3 at White Hart Lane. So thank you very, very much, Bongs. It was an honor playing alongside you, and whatever you're going to do in future or whatever you're busy with, I know you wear your heart on your sleeve. And like I said, we used to call you Lionel at Supersport back in the day. I think you can elaborate more on why we called you Lionel. But yeah, fantastic human being, and so proud of you. Well done, Bongs, and all the best for your future endeavors.
I'll start with the Lionel part. Dane Clay, thank you so much.
No, you'll have to tell me Lionel. My memory is not that good. I've had too many balls in my life.
No.
I've had so many nicknames. There's a lot of them are a little bit naughty, so that's probably for another time.
Are you Lionel Richie?
No, absolutely not.
Which other Lionels there?
Absolutely not.
Guys, anyone know?
No, I don't. Maybe Dane walked into my room while I was listening to some old school jams or something.
No, there's no way. When you said some of the nicknames are naughty, Lionel.
I don't know the Lionel one. But yeah, Dane will have to remind me on that one.
Okay, I'm going to text him while we are chatting here. Yeah. Either that or we'll give him a call. We got enough airtime, guys. Here. Do remember you can be part of the conversation. 011-883-8947, 011-883-8947. Otherwise, send us a WhatsApp voice note 060-708-0484. That first training that he talks about.
So I can go back to like there's a going around joke. So Gavin with his chirp. Sometimes we're like, Bongani, you look like a bull in a china shop. I was like, what was a bull doing in a china shop? What was a bull doing in a china shop in the first place?
That's why you look like one.
They had a good laugh about that. But the story about the first training camp, I'll never forget this, and this is probably the reason why I've such respect and admiration for Steve Compella.
Yeah.
I didn't have him at club level, but exposed to him at international level. And he was there. He was the coach at the time. And he also had this thing where he used to test players, Monga, like, where are you from? Because, that squad had such stars. Household names. You can imagine the egos in that room. And I think Coach Steve was the best one to just level out all those egos. So if you came in, you were introduced to lower your ego. But I had no ego. I was still playing Vela League for Tux. I wasn't doing amazing things. At the time, what was that? Cheese Boy, it was Dane, it was Lerato Shabang. That team was household names, young players. So they organized a 2-day camp, and I turn up, obviously, naturally just nervous. 2-day camp, land, and I go to bed. Sleep. And then I get woken up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Now, I won't mention the player's name, but he's a very prominent guy who would have had a late night, and I was getting to camp very late. And he woke me up, and I couldn't sleep. Rob, the next day, I couldn't even pass a ball straight. It was not okay. I was not okay.
So he had just come into camp?
Yes, he came late, making a noise. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Reported, cool. But now the problem is now I can't sleep again because now I got this anxiety. Because now this is my chance now to obviously show my stuff with these guys and, try and make some sort of impression. Whoa, it was the worst 2-day camp of my life. However, it is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Because of what? The lessons learned in that camp?
So put it this way, and I'll put this in terms where everyone will understand.
Yeah.
When you're in a team and about to select 5-a-side team, and then the stars look at each other and go, Yeah, that's where it got to. That 2 days. It was like 4 training sessions. That's where it got to. It was not good at all. But it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Because ever since that day, I've never been the same again. I worked 100 times harder than anybody.
So that already classed you to say, aye.
Oh, no, done.
Five-a-side, aye. We don't want it.
As was, Mosangit. We all household name. We're making headlines in the PSL. You come, we don't know you.
We ain't gone,
and you're
maybe.
still shaky. Forget it. It's a cutthroat industry, eh, Rob? It's a cutthroat. You know what's crazy? Coach Steve called me back into the national team because I went back to Tux.
Yes.
That year we got to the playoff final. Remember we did the curtain raiser when Sundowns played Barcelona.
Correct.
We played Amazulu, right? The home leg was at Loftus. Played there. After that, unfortunately, the home leg was a draw. Second leg, I actually got a yellow card, didn't play the second leg. We lost, but I still moved to Supersport. Then, Steve Compella, that off-season, called me to come back to the under-23s. We're going to All Africa games. Do you know they didn't recognize me? So now, because now I'm different, I'm shouting, I'm asking for the ball. And he's testing me. He'd be like, hey, Bongani, I'll tate lama pepo hambe your facts. Hey, Bongani, I'm like, but this guy, why is he? And then on the third day, he calls me back after from sending something again. He calls me, he's like, hey, Bongani, haven't I called you before? And I was like, yeah, you did. He's like, yay, is that you?
It was like you've changed completely.
Yes, it's like, how are you the same person? Like you've changed, like you're taller, you're more, you're commanding, you. Like, how is it the same person from that?
The timid, shy, looking around all over the place kind of kid.
Never, ever. Because that's where the whole being shy, the whole being, I don't want to speak too much because I'm going to be judged. I think that's where it died. It died, buried, and never looked back. Sure.
You just gave away your age, though, when you talked about, hey, Mfanambo Faxa.
All facts. We've been at this thing for a while, Rob.
People listening right now is that, sorry, what did Bongs just say, guys? Faxa. So can I Google that? Like, what the hell's going on? But you talk about Sundowns, though. We just got a message from one of the Sundowns all-time legends. Yeah, he says, good evening. The other beauty for your legend is I saw a leader when he came for trials at Mamelodi Sundowns before he even signed his first professional contract. Says, I was very disappointed. Sundowns didn't sign him at the time. He says, Bongani, you're a true legend that can analyze the game of football with flying colors. From Daniel Mambush Mudau.
Very kind. Very kind, brother, and very kind. Yeah, I remember he was very kind to me. He was very kind to me. I came there for a trial. I was with the team around then for like a week and a bit. And he was so kind, man. Such an amazing guy. To come, I think people don't realize, to sort of come into a professional setup to try and show your stuff where you know nobody, it's not easy. It's not easy. You get tested and you get pushed. But nonetheless, I was given my time. I was given my time at Sundowns, train with the team, and they were just like, no, we're not gonna go ahead with the signing. I was like, no problem, cool. They were very respectful. Club is very respectful. It's not a thing of don't come tomorrow. It was like there was a conversation. Listen, thank you, but no, we're gonna go a different direction. I don't have a problem with that. Great.
So was that trial before you went to Spurs?
That trial, I was 17 when I went on that trial. 18.
Right,
before even Tux, by the way. Before even Tux, that's where I went on that trial. Yeah. So it was very, very early in my days. And ever since, my whole career, every time we played Sundowns and Mr. Mambush comes into the change room, it's just like,
we're
like, today is the day I show you what you missed out on.
What you could have had with the beauty of it. All right, before we go to more of your tributes, though, let me just tell you who's going to be starting for Bafana Bafana in tonight's game that's kicking off in about 20 minutes as they play against Congo. Williams is back, so he reclaims his place in the goalkeeping berth. We've got Madiba, we've got Dortley, who steps in as far as defense is concerned. This is the areas now that Khumalo would have been very famous for. Kekane is there, as well as, Mudau. Kuliso, good to see him back. Mukwena is also there. Not much game time at Sundowns. Obas is also in the starting lineup. But Paulus is there. Zwane gets his 50th cap. So, wow. What a way to get your 50th cap. And you start for Bafana Bafana alongside Lyle Foster. Mugwane is also there on the right. What a team. And we wish them everything of the best, though, for tonight. More tributes, guys.
Good evening, Rob. And good evening, Bongs. Baba. And good evening to your listeners. Tonight, Rob, we've got a true legend of the game. Someone who took care of us at Supersport. Like, Bongs is someone who people say he doesn't talk much. But coming to to the training sessions and games, he's more vocal and he can communicate as a captain and as a friend to all of us. I think he played a huge role to most of the youngsters that were still playing at Supersport. I was very privileged to have played with and shared the dressing room with Bongs. I was not surprised to see Bongs going overseas to achieve his dreams, because he was someone who worked hard at training, especially more at the gym, or someone who spends time at the gym lifting weights, Robs. I'm happy to still see Bongs still involved into football and giving back his knowledge to the youngsters. So there's much I can speak about Bongs, but what I can say is I've enjoyed my stay at Supersport playing with him, and we won trophies with him, and he played a huge role, you know. So big up to Bongs, and let's give him his flowers while he can still smell them, you know. I wish him all the best in life. And Bongs, ngiyakubongela baba wami ukubona usesepolweni. Sazobonana. Ngiyabonga.
Oh, Jabulani, Jabu Maluleka. What a special tribute, man. Says Bongs, ngiyakubongela. Hey, he's rhyming as well.
No, man, he's what a player, hey? What a player. You know, there's certain games, Rob, that the one thing about us back in the day, we made every game a fight, and we liked it. We liked the fight. And there were games where, you know, the fight got tough. You know, Jabu was one of those special players that just brought so much calm and just so cool. No matter how hot it is, no matter how much pressure, wants the ball, retains the ball, you know, makes it work, makes us tick, keeps us, and gives us, you know, a breather at the back as well, by the way. So, I mean, what a player. I mean, what a player. He had a wonderful career as well.
Skillful as hell, man.
Incredible vision.
Hey, Jabu Maluleka, thank you so much indeed. So many tributes that are coming through. Also, people on the social media platforms, those that are watching on the YouTube channel. Got a couple here. Says, Bongs is a legend. Peter Ariel, thank you very much indeed. Eric Chauke says, you know, Bongani Khumalo was a marvel to watch. Hence, Tottenham snatched him up. Says, bravo to the legend. Hey, they got you for what, 16 million rand back then, eh?
Something like that.
16, boss.
Somewhere there.
1.6.
Yeah.
If it was today, that would be 40 million.
Yeah.
Plus. No.
Decent amount of change.
Because then
money halves every 10 years, so yeah.
Oh, listen. So from that 16 million,
yeah,
how much went to you?
Dang right.
Hashtag MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. Hashtag MSW.
You know it's game on with Hollywood Bets this soccer season. Stand to win your share of 2 million rand in prizes. Bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture. Get Diski Passion in the palm of your hand. Aziz Shege, let's play. T's and C's apply.
Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Discover a ride that's as stylish in the city as it is tough on the trails. Whether you're navigating the urban jungle or exploring rugged terrain, the Suzuki Jimny 5-door offers you a ride in perfect harmony.
Experience your next adventure with our incredible deals, featuring no deposit, guaranteed future value after 48 months, and a linked interest rate from 10.39%. T's and C's apply. Join the Jimny culture at suzukiauto.co.za.
Pet Shop Science's 100th store is now open. And to celebrate, we're giving you great deals on top pet brands like Hills, Royal Canin, Montego, and more. Save 25% on any Hills dry food. Get 20 kilograms Montego Classic Adult Dry Dog Food for $429.99 each. Save 110 Rand. And save 30% on any 2 Royal Canin Wet Food 12-pouch multi-packs. Valid until Sunday. Only at Pet Shop Science. The science behind happy pets.
My guy. What's this I read about saving on your car insurance premiums with My Way?
Yeah, it's legit. I moved to My Way and got extra cash in my pocket, man.
Is that why you've managed to buy flowers every month for your wife?
That's how I'm able to spend more time with you gents.
Move to My Way and save up to 40% on your car insurance premiums, saving you more to live your way. Visit myway.co.za. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
You stumble out of bed,
trip over your dog. You run down the stairs, the dog trips over you. You pour hot water over his food, but hit your hand instead. You drive to the park. As you open the door, four-paw Thunderclaw bursts out, slamming the door right into your face. Being human is complicated. Your medical aid shouldn't be. Simply be with the best. Be with BestMed Medical Scheme. Visit bestmed.co.za. BestMed Medical Scheme is an authorized FSP.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of my well-rested family protected by Expander Pro security barriers. One of their pros came out to my home and gave me a free security assessment. All my custom-made security gates and burglar bars were installed within days of placing my order. I was so impressed with their service, quality, price, and guarantees. I even got roller shutters installed at my business. Visit expander.co.za to request a quote. Expander. Real security for real people, real fast.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Professor of Football.
Kostadin Papic. To ask the people in South Africa, how many players of Orlando Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs, you know, from 2006 to 2024? Can you mention by the generation 2 or 3 players? Every in those two teams? Do you remember somebody? Now ask any supporter who is more than 25, for example. Everybody going to start to mention Onyekachi, Dina, Vilakazi. They became a legend. That is the biggest trophy which I ever win. Everybody knows who is Lucky Legwati, everybody knows who is Dugu Makanya, everybody knows Steve Lekulea, everybody knows Manenze. What you want more than that? Me to win the trophy.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Friday nights, always.
This is how we do it.
About our beloved legends. Pull up your chair. Let's chat legendary stuff. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to the Mr. shareholders, and special greetings to the legend today, Mr. Bongani Khumalo. I'll just want to hear from him in terms of from my perspective, it seems like it was seamless. Maybe he can just attest to that, the transition from being the one on the field to now analyzing the ones that are in the field, and if there are any similarities or any differences between the two, and if there are any maybe commonalities between the two. So I think it will be great to get that, because ever so often we see players transition into analysis, but we never know, to being pundits, we never know exactly if maybe it was a tough thing to do, because also you have to look at how football is changing. You might find maybe the systems as well, when they were playing, they are so different to the current ones, and like, how do they try, and also maybe how does he try to separate himself from the person who's now talking as a former player to now just sticking to being a pundit? Thank you, Rob.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa, ukhuluma noSibongeleni kwaMkhwane, and good evening to your guest, Bongani Khumalo. Mr. Marawa, I think Bongani was born to be a leader, and I was very, very happy to see him getting a move to Tottenham Hotspur at his prime of his career. And what I want to know from Bongani, what sort of challenges he faced there in England to make it hard for him to get a regular game time in that Tottenham Hotspur team. I just wish him all the best in future, Mr. Marawa. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa and to the MSW shareholders, and good evening to your guest in studio, Bongani Khumalo. Oh, what a great legend we've got there in the studio, Mr. Marawa. You know, a true servant of the game. You know, during his playing days, he was one of my favorite defenders, Mr. Marawa, and my role model. You know, I still remember back in 2010 during the FIFA World Cup, you know, I never missed any Bafana game, Mr. Marawa, just to watch him playing, even though I was 8 at that time, Mr. Marawa. But his personality in and off the field, you know, inspired me, Mr. Marawa. But I just want to find out from him, since he got a chance to play, you know, in one of the prestigious league abroad, and where I believe he flourished, who is that one player that always gave him a hard time while playing his trade abroad, Mr. Marawa? I just want to find out from that. Thanks for the wonderful show, Mr. Marawa. Mden in Eswatini.
Good evening, Tarop, and good evening to the legend with you in studio, Bongani Khumalo. Tarop, you have one of the greatest defenders that have played their trade in the PSL, and that is Captain Bafana Bafana in the most important global showpiece, which was the World Cup in 2010. Bongani is such a humble and respectful human being. You can see it just from afar. Quick question for Bongs, Tarop. Captaining Bafana Bafana during the 2010 World Cup, what did it mean for his career? And also moving to Tottenham Hotspurs for such a significant fee from a PSL team. What did that moment signify in his career going forward? Thanks, Tarop Bongani.
Well, Bongani to Bongani, let's start off with that one. The last one, which has to do with your move to Tottenham Hotspur. I suppose let's infuse it with the previous one of, some of the challenges, some of the, which player gave you a hard time when you were still abroad, but also what Bongani was just saying, that you captaining and then obviously what happened abroad.
Yeah. Well, let's start. If we start with Spurs, I think it's important, with people to the move. When I moved, obviously I was quite young. Quite young for my position. So the whole thing was, you've had a good experience and you've done well. You're at a good age for a centre back, and you're not used to European football. It is different. There's certain ways, tricks of the trade that you need to learn as a defender. You need, because it is light years apart than anything you face in the PSL. It really, really is, Rob. So, Tim Sherwood, Les Ferdinand were magnificent in terms of doing that. Now, the unfortunate part is, obviously, the whole plan was, look, you're here, you're a Spurs player, but we want to send you out on loan, get your experience, get real game time to make you strong. Yeah. And as much as I would have had loan deals where it'd be a Premier League club or perhaps a championship club that's challenging for promotion, like Tim would say, no, I want you down there. Yeah. I want to see how tough you are. I want to make you tough. Go there, down there, for a team that fights relegation so that you're strong, because you're a defender. If you're going to be any of value for Spurs, you need to be used to sort of a fight and difficulty and as a leader. So that was the whole idea. The unfortunate part is, obviously, in terms of my first loan move, injured, can't stay fit. The loan move falls apart. And lo and behold, Reading go and win the promotion. Imagine that. But I only play 2-3 months. 2-3 months. And you know what the incredible thing is, Rob? They won the promotion. Obviously won the league, right?
Yes,
Coming to the Prem. I think I only would have played maybe 10 games. Do you know that they actually called me? They called me and said, Bongani, there's some monies here that we need to talk to you about. I'm like, well, no, I left. I paid for everything. Everything's all square. Like, no.
We owe you.
You owed money. I'm like, for what? Like, no, we won promotion. So you're due. I was like,
bonus. The bonuses.
Imagine getting pounds off season, chilling alone. I was like, listen, book the flights. We are leaving. I was like, sweetheart, book the flights. We're going to an island. So that was incredible. But look, my whole journey, and look, I'm not going to lie, it is such a pain that, it didn't work out because, I went there with the mentality, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it at this level. And I sacrificed, took a step back to move forward, out on loan, go to Greece, come back. I was at Doncaster doing well, getting champagnes and all. And now there's buzzes from Spurs, like, oh, this young defender is doing well. And I'm like, okay, finally, like, there's some traction. I'm getting used to the demands of this country, the league, the expectation, the physicality, all of that.
Yeah.
And then I come, and this is the part that people don't realize. Then I come to the national team. First of all, I had a broken toe, so I had no business coming in the first place. But it was Brazil. I'm like, Neymar in South Africa. Yay, give me the pain tablets injection.
Yeah, give the
injection. We are going, Savaya. Yeah. What happens? Now we're having a conversation whether I'll ever play football again.
Hey.
And that's the reality of the game, unfortunately.
With your sacrifice, because half the time, the very same people that are booing you, that don't like you or for whatever, it's like you don't know the sacrifice. Yeah. You've just put your international contract at risk coming back to play for your national team, which I suppose we all love, and that is why you're the leader that you were. But one thing for sure is that Harry Redknapp was a big fan of Bongani Khumalo. He was a big fan, although because at the time, the likes of Ledley King, I think Jonathan Woodgate, Michael Dawson, he was not too sure what to do with them at that stage. Also there were, I think, Ledley King more than anybody else was also a little bit injury prone.
Yeah. Ledley never trained.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. You would never see him. The game's on Saturday. We're on Saturday. And Saturday training in for Spurs back, it was literally a 10-15 minute small-sided game. Stretch, you done. You hardly even sweat, to be honest. It's not. Yeah. That's when Ledley would train. But the rest of the week, he's on bikes, he's swimming, he's doing whatever it takes to stay fit for the game. Watch him on Saturday. He's the best player on the field. I actually asked him, like, lately, how do you do it? Because if I'm not practicing my heading the day before, timing, and like I don't feel prepared, he was just like, listen, mate, I watch a lot of football. I study my opponents.
Yeah.
And you get through.
Talk about that transition. I think it's what Sbu in KZN was asking in the voice note earlier on. Says your transition from analyzing. Are you able to separate yourself from Bongs, the football player, then to somebody who has to critically analyze football for what it is? It's not a personal thing. Sometimes people think it's a personal thing, and it isn't. You have to be honest. That's what you're paid to do.
I talk about football, and it's not, to be honest, it's not that difficult. As I mentioned in the change room, we have conversation with Dan Clate. It's the same thing. You talk about football. What do you see? How do you see it? And how do you solve the problems that you see? It's the same thing. As a player, I would sit with my laptop. This weekend, we're playing Pirates. Massive game at Loftus, challenging for the league. Second last game, we're playing Pirates. There's a brilliant superstar, Tiko Modise. There's Mashego, who's my teammate. And they've showed us flames in Nedbank Cup there at Ellis Park. It was tough that day. It was tough. So now they're coming to our yard. And I'm there with Morgan. We're like, no ways. Not today.
Yeah.
You know? Like, those are the conversations we used to have. And for me, it's the same thing. The only difference is I just don't have my boots on.
Yeah.
As I don't want to say as a leader, but just as a person who loves the game, who wants to win. Like, I really want to win games. Tell me what the best way is to go about winning, right? And if you have the conversation with your teammates, the people that actually control the factors at play, you have a better chance of winning. And it's that simple. So when I speak to the camera on TV, I'm pretending, listen, I'm trying to win this game. How do I get there? How would I get there? What do I see?
You know what I see? You talk about seeing. What I see in the times that I'm seeing you on television.
Yeah.
You mentioned Tim Sherwood early on.
Yeah.
And he is one of those brutally honest analysts, but I'm sure even brutally honest coach and a human being in the face of it all. So that's what I'm saying. I just picked that little thing up, though, because I know it's October, but let's go back to September.
Hi, Rob. Oh, man, you with one of the best that I've played with in the league. Bongs, good evening. And, man, you know, as a player, you helped me to win 3 trophies. And we had so much, you know, memories. We did have some defeats, but we're feared in the league with set pieces because of the likes of you and Ricardo Katza and Morgan Gold. So it helped us as well, the players that we were playing with, to also be able to not be looked out for. All the attention was on you and set pieces. We could also get some goals on set pieces because of you. The work that you have done, on and off the field. Playing with you at Supersport, it was one of the best decision Kevin Hunt has ever done, you know, to bring in a young defender for us. And you grew up to be my captain and went on to captain Bafana Bafana. I think my best memory about you is, you know, scoring against France in the World Cup and seeing you there leading the country. And now I watch you on TV. Great analysis of the game. You know, you were always born for the football, and the work that you do as well that is unnoticed, giving back into our communities. May you continue, and wishing you all the best for the future, my friend. All the best, Bongs.
Oh, talk about September. I mean, what a guy.
What a man.
Sure.
Tell you a secret. When I signed for Supersport,
he
was a centre back. I was playing as a centre back. Never forget, we're going up to eat. He came to me, young player first season. He said, listen, I must tell you, you are young, you're strong, you're fast, you've got everything. You'll go very far in this football thing. And that is a fellow competitor to say that. Incredible man. And he's been super supportive as a teammate, as a man. Utmost love and respect for Thabo. Honestly, what a man.
Thabo, thank you, man. I mean, what a beautiful tribute. Appreciate you. And good luck in terms of what you guys, with you, Kwanele Kopo, and what you're doing in the project at Chipper United. We see the change, we see the difference, we see the touch as well. It looks like you're very popular at Sundowns, man. Hey, Ushupi, I'm sure you know Ushupi very, very well. He says, I'd like to find out if Bongs are still involved in the safety products business and his advice, though, to active footballers on investment. Can you do that in 30 seconds?
I can.
Sure.
The answer is yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're premium manufacturers. We work on quality. and you can check us. You can check our website, umosc.co.za. And, what was the other part?
Whether you are, so footballers on investment.
Investment?
Yes.
Well, fact for all footballers, it's going to end, my friend. I'm not wishing you bad luck. It's a fact. It's going to end. It's going to end. So prepare while you're at your peak. Be very careful with the risks that you take. With anything that you start small. Don't let someone sell you a garage and that's going to solve all your problems. Be very, very careful of that. Start small with any investment. Start small. Let it grow organically. Let it grow with time. The sooner you start, the better.
What's the best investment to make right now?
There'll be less anxiety.
So if you got X amount, let's say you got 30,000 Rand that you want to invest somewhere, where's the best place to chuck that money?
Jeez, 30,000. Honestly, I'm not a financial advisor.
I know you're not. I'm
not a
turning you
financial
into one.
advisor, but for now, because you focus on football, rather put it into what you know.
Yeah.
This thing of forex, if you don't understand it, if someone can't explain it to you in layman's terms, as simple as possible, don't get involved in it.
I think it just sounds great. I think people hear forex and they see a convertible and they see Instagram.
Yes.
There's just something about forex.
It's not that simple.
Yeah,
Some people make money off it, and that's fantastic. But all I'm saying is, I'm not downing forex. People make good money off it.
Absolutely.
But if you don't understand it, if you're not fully comfortable, don't jump in. Never get desperate, because guess what, Rob?
Yeah.
If you say 30,000, who's got the money? You do. So why are you panicked? Take your time. Do your research, make your decisions. You are the one with the money. Anyone that sells an investment or an idea, they want money from you. Don't let them panic. Don't let them let you panic.
All right, I'm panicked right now because...
Sorry. Yeah.
No, you know why? I'm panicked because David M. Seleka Jr. on X says, I am about to report you, meaning me, to the BCCSA. And I'm worried now. He says, you didn't warn us that Bongani Khumalo is way too funny now. Says LOL, leaving me in stitches. Yo, Bongs, thank you so much, man.
Thank you so
You've
much, Rob.
made our
It's
day.
been a pleasure.
You've
Thank
made
you.
our day, man.
Thank you.
I just know that you're a true legend. We certainly do appreciate all your contributions to SA football. You can tune in again tomorrow and the next day and the next day for Marawa Sports Worldwide. Brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
From the pitch to the podium, your all-access pass to the world of sport is right here. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. Hashtag MSW live now on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM and Soweto Live at the same time. Hashtag